Hi, Red Bank friends and family. I'm here inside the Red Bank Library, and behind me on the bookcase, you can see some colorful flowers. In that display are seeds that we're doing a seed exchange garden. You can come in and get some seeds to plant in your garden, or if you have seeds of your own to donate flower or vegetable, you may do so here at the library to share with other people in our community. And that got me thinking. This is about the time of year where people plant vegetable and flower gardens and get ready for the season. A book here called Muncha, Muncha, Muncha. And it's a perfect STEM book because it's about a farmer that has a real problem that you can help solve. As you may have guessed by the title and the pictures on the cover, his problem is with rabbits eating his vegetables in his garden. When I was younger, my dad would grow a garden on the side of our house, and we'd have tomatoes and green beans and peppers and eggplant. And one year we even had baby watermelon. But almost every year we went outside in the morning and discovered that chunks of our tomatoes were missing, that the green bean sprouts were gone, all because of the animals. So think about what other kinds of animals you have here in Red Bank that might be eating your vegetables. It's not just the bunnies. Maybe it's a groundhog. Maybe it's some deer. Maybe even a fox. All sorts of animals get hungry and will eat fruits and vegetables. So we're going to determine a way for you to stop the animals from munching on the vegetables. You come up with a good idea that you know from your past experience because you tried it at your own house and it works. You read about it in a book, you researched it online, maybe you talked to somebody at the farm about it or somebody at the landscaping store. What to do to stop these wonderful but annoying wildlife. So it's called Muncha, Muncha, Muncha. And you'll see that this farmer decides to do 3 or 4 different things, and none of them seem to work very well. Let's discover what happens. First, take a look at the title page. Wow, it certainly looks like somebody took some big bites out of this carrot. I think I can even see teeth marks. Called Muncha, Muncha, Muncha by Candace Fleming and illustrated by G. Brian Karras. For years, Mr. McGreely dreamed of planting a garden. He dreamed of getting his hands dirty, of growing yummy vegetables, and of gobbling them all up. And if you don't have room at your house for a garden, there are places in nearby towns that you have community gardens, and you can get a little block, a little parcel of land that can be your own to garden. But he never once tried until this spring, said Mr. McGreely. This spring, by golly, I'm going to plant a garden. And you can see he went to the local store and he bought some supplies, some pots to plant his vegetables and flowers in, some seed and soil, a watering can, a rake, a shovel, and a hoe. So he hoed and he sowed and he watched his garden grow. Lettuce, carrots, peas, tomatoes, yummy, 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 said Mr. McGreely. I'm gonna fill my tummy with crisp, fresh veggies. But one night, when the sun went down and the moon came up, 3 hungry bunnies appeared. Tippy, 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 pat. And this part you can read with me. It says, Muncha, muncha, muncha. And they ate all the lettuce in the garden. So the next morning, when Mr. McGreely saw his gnawed sprouts, he was angry. So he built a small wire fence all around his vegetable garden. You take a look at that fence and know a lot about the bunnies, and you can see them right over here. They're watching what's going on. I think they're coming up with a clever solution to get around that fence. Just don't think it's quite high enough. But Farmer McGreely had other ideas. There, he declared, no bunny can get into my garden now. And the sun went down and the moon came up, and tippy, 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 pat, spring hurdle, dash, 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 muncha, muncha, muncha. They were able to hop right over it. Mr. McGreely needs to think of another plan. So the next morning comes, and when Mr. McGreely saw his nipple leaves and gnawed sprouts, he was really angry. So he built a tall wooden wall behind the small wire fence all around his vegetable garden. He huffed, those floppers will never get over it. No bunny can get into my garden now. Maybe he's going to have a hard time getting to his own garden. But you can see from the picture right here how he's going to do it. He's going to use a ladder. And the sun went down and the moon came up. And, oh no, dig, scrabble, scratch, 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 spring, hurdle, dash, 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 muncha, muncha, muncha. Oh my goodness, look at this bunny here, laying on his back, not a care in the world. More lettuce, please. Oh my, so the bunnies this time used their talents and dug under the wall. The next morning, when Mr. McGreely saw his chewed stems, his nibbled leaves, and his gnawed sprouts, he was really, really angry. So he made a deep, wet trench, like a moat around a castle, outside the tall wooden wall, behind the small wire fence, all around his vegetable garden. Ha! He snorted. Those pufftails can't get under it. They can't get over it. No bunny can get into my garden now. And the sun went down and the moon came up. Tippy, 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 pat. Dive, paddle, splash, splash, splash. They could swim through the water. Dig, scrabble, scratch, scratch, scratch. Spring, hurdle, dash, dash, dash. Muncha, muncha, muncha. The next morning, when Mr. McGreely saw his chomp blossoms, his chewed stems, his nibble leaves, and his gnawed sprouts, he was furious. So he hammered and blocked, he sawed and he stocked. He drilled and built and trapped and locked. And he built a huge, enormous thing before the deep, wet trench, outside the tall wooden wall, behind the small wire fence, all around his vegetable garden. I've outsmarted those twitch witches for sure, he exclaimed. They can't get through it. They can't get under it, and they can't get over it. No bunny, no way, no how to get into my vegetable garden now. And the sun went down and the moon came up. Tippy, 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 stop. The three hungry bunnies looked and smelled and touched the huge, enormous thing before them. And tippy, 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 pat, the bunnies hopped away. You can see this one right here, sniffing and examining the lock. There's no way around it. Maybe the farmer's plan finally worked. But that's not the end of our story. The next morning, when Mr. McGreely saw his untouched vegetables, he was happy. I beat the bunnies, I beat the bunnies. He whooped and he hollered and he did a squiggly wiggly victory dance. Then he climbed over, jumped across, squeezed between, and crawled under until he reached his vegetable garden. Ah, sighed Mr. McGreely, at last. Smacking his lips. He picked and pulled up lettuce, carrots, peas, tomatoes, and with his basket overflowing, he reached inside for something yummy. And the author doesn't tell us in words. If you look at the illustrations, the drawings up here, you can see, sorry, the bunnies and look where they're going. And Mr. really isn't watching. So behold, when you're down here, he's putting the vegetables into the basket. And look what else is in the basket. Bunny ears. They snuck in the basket that he carried all around those obstacles in the way and brought the bunnies right there with him in the garden. The bunny said, Muncha, Muncha, Muncha. Oh no. And the farmer finally gives up, eats his carrot, and lets each of the bunnies have one too. So maybe that was your answer. Maybe you decided you're not going to try to stop the animals from eating the vegetables in the garden. Maybe you can grow 2 gardens, one area hopefully for the animals and another area for the people. I know some people say there's certain kinds of like sprays, smells that the animals don't like, certain kinds of textures they don't like. See if you can come up with some way to stop the animals in our community from eating all our vegetables in the garden. But please remember, we don't want to do anything that hurts them. So if you're thinking about trapping them, make sure you can release them back into the wild, just a little further away from the garden. If you're looking for some more help, maybe the local 4-H club will be able to help you come up with some ideas that are natural and safe and healthy for all of us involved. And definitely remember to keep eating healthy and loving wildlife. If you have a great idea you'd like to share with us for this STEM project, please share it either by email to the Red Bank Library or by posting it on our Facebook page. We look forward to more fun STEM and family adventures next month. Happy Earth Day and have a great day. Bye-bye for now.